Hello and welcome to my video where I'm going to show you how to make some werewolf jeans. This is a simple costume idea for any kind of hairy creature that you might want to dress up as, and I hope you enjoy this tutorial. Okay, so you're going to need a pair of old jeans, some faux fur, some scissors, a needle and thread, and if you have one, a lint roller. You can really use any faux fur for this, although I would recommend long pile, which basically means that the fibres are long. The fur that I used was labelled frost colour, and it's basically a black base material with white fibres. I think it adds a little bit of depth to not just have one single flat colour. And as for the jeans, you can use any jeans or any trousers in fact, but it's best to use some that have seen better days. As you can see, the pair of jeans that I'm using are definitely tatty, but I'm going to utilise those big holes in them to my advantage. Okay, so the first step is to add some more holes to the jeans. I wanted to add these holes randomly on the front and the back of the jeans, and I wanted most of them to look like they'd been slashed with claws. So I therefore made most of the holes quite long, like so. You want to use your scissors to add a handful of holes all over the jeans. Just bear in mind that you're going to be sewing around each of these holes, so don't go overboard, otherwise it will take you longer to make. As you can see, I made an array of different sizes and shapes, including a kind of star shape, as though the fur was exploding from the leg. Once you've cut out the holes, you then need to cut out the corresponding faux fur pieces. So I used my scissors to cut out a sort of rectangle shape from the faux fur that was the same length as the hole. These faux fur pieces can be a little bigger than the holes in the jeans, but make sure that they're not smaller, otherwise that'll lead to bunched up denim. Every time after cutting the faux fur, make sure you remove all of the loose fibres that now exist on the edge. As I'm sure you're going to learn, the downside of working with faux fur is that the fibres get everywhere. In fact, it might seem a little bit over the top, but I would recommend wearing some kind of breathing mask because you don't want to be breathing these fibres in. Also, if you have a lint roller handy, that's great for cleaning up your work surface. Once you've cut out the piece of faux fur, push it through the hole in the jeans, so that you can only see the base fabric from this side. This is simply to hide the long fibres to make sure that they don't get in the way of the sewing. Then line up one edge of the faux fur with the corresponding edge of the hole. We're now going to sew these edges together. So cut a long piece of matching sewing thread and fold it in half. The folded thread should be about the same length as your arm. I then feed the ends of this thread into my sharp hand sewing needle. I then need to secure the start of the thread to the jeans. So I move to the beginning of the edge that I want to sew, and I take the needle through the edge of the denim from the inside to the outside. Don't pull the thread the entire way through the denim, but instead leave a loop. Then take the needle through this loop and tighten. And this secures the thread. And now we're going to stitch these edges together. So take your needle through the edge of the faux fur from back to front, and then move straight across and take the needle through the edge of the denim from the inside to the outside. And you just repeat this all along this seam. So you go down through the faux fur, straight across and up through the denim. Down through the fur and up through the denim. And you carry on repeating this all along the edge until you get to the other end of this hole. Once you've sewn up one side of the hole, you need to make sure that the faux fur aligns with the other side of the hole. So to do this, all I did was cut the faux fur into a nice curve that aligned with the curve of the hole in the denim. Then I removed all the loose fibres. This allows me to line up the faux fur edge with the denim edge. And then I just repeat what I did on the other side in order to sew these edges together. This simple stitch is called the whip stitch. Then, once you've finished, you need to secure the end of the thread. To do this, take the needle into and out of the denim very close to where you just finished stitching. Pull the needle until there's just a small loop of thread remaining. Take the needle through the loop and tighten. I then repeated that again, so I went into and out of the denim to make a small stitch, then tuck the needle through that loop twice and pulled the thread tight. Cut off the excess thread and then you've finished. And this is what the result looks like on the inside and the outside. I then proceeded to do exactly the same for all the holes in the jeans, except for a couple of them which I treated a little bit differently. For instance, for the large pre-made holes in the knees, I wanted to make it look very natural and have some of the surplus denim just hanging loosely at the front. Therefore, I didn't sew the edge of the faux fur directly to the edge of the denim. Instead, I folded the surplus denim outwards to make kind of flaps on the outside of the jeans. And then I sewed the edge of the faux fur to the fold of the denim. I'm just showing you a bit of that process here. And here you can see the result. I also did the same for the star-shaped cut on the back of the leg to make it look like the fur was bursting out of the denim. To do this, I first folded all of the triangles of denim to the inside of the jeans. I then sewed the edge of the faux fur to the folds of the denim. And this is what that looked like from the front. And just as a last note, I wanted to add that if you're finding the inside of the jeans a little bit scratchy because of the faux fur, you can always add some kind of lining. I did this using fabric glue to attach pieces of fleece. And that's it, the jeans are now completed. You can do this same process to t-shirts or any type of clothing in order to make a full costume. I really hope you've enjoyed this project and thank you very much for watching.